Hi Divya. Guys, Karthik tells me he should be joining in like a minute. So please, there we have. So Karthik, I just sent you a request. Hi. Hi Karthik.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay.
Nice,
Can
nice to
everybody
see you.
hear Karthik? Yeah, likewise. You look very different look.
Yeah, new chapter.
That's true, yeah. Well, yeah.
Visually, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we're all doing that. We're all trying to figure out new
Yeah,
ways to reinvent and stuff. So,
yeah.
firstly, thank you so much, Karthik, for being a part of the Hindu Weekends Lockdown with Weekend series. Thank you so much for making time to be with us and
My my
share
pleasure. Thanks,
some
thanks.
insights. Super. I just thought I'd quickly introduce you to, I mean, I'm sure most people here know you, but then just for the benefit of those who probably joined this conversation for the first time, just going to quickly introduce you to them. For those who are not familiar with the Karthik Iyer, it's interesting. We're going to be talking about the idea of new chapters. But honestly, for somebody who's known Karthik Iyer's musical journey, he has his musical journey has really witnessed several chapters. So he has over 20 years of experience in the Carnatic classical world, right from the age of 8, where he kind of performed and captivated audiences with his very emotion-led pieces across sabhas and other venues. With an intent to broaden his horizons, he started playing violin in cinema and has played even with maestros like A.R. Rahman and also with notable music directors like Imam, Devishri Prasad, to name a few. He also composed a song for Bollywood and has also composed several jingles for ad films. Um, he's also spent many years performing across international venues like the Glastonbury, the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, and MTV's Coke Studio as well. Has collaborated with several musicians like the Raghu Dixit Project, Sushila Raman, and the Indo acoustic band Emergence. All this seeking and searching and collaborating led him to create his own band called the IndoSoul. And I think most people know him as the founder and creator of IndoSoul. And IndoSoul also consists of a bunch of very, very talented musicians who bring to the table not just, sound musical expertise and experience, but also diverse backgrounds in terms of music. IndoSoul seeks to introduce Indian classical music to people around the world in a manner that is experimental, interesting, entertaining, and accessible. So that is an introduction to Karthik Iyer in an IndoSoul. Thank you again, Karthik. I'm going to start off by asking you firstly about how lockdown life has been treating you.
It's been, I guess it's been a mixed bag, but I would say it's positive for most part. The first 5, 6 days of the lockdown, I was really thankful for all the time that I had. So I was really overjoyed because I had all the time to do a lot of things. February was a very, very busy month for us at IndoSoul. So it felt like God-given time, which it probably was. And then it hit that we're not going to be having concerts for the foreseeable future. So it was a tough bullet to bite. But then again, um, in the long run, I think it's been a month and a half since the lockdown. Probably a couple of months, no,
Oh,
no,
no. Yeah,
two.
2.5 months. Yeah, March 18, I think, was when we.
Okay, okay. So if I'm sort of making the time shorter than it is, probably it's not been too bad, I guess. Um, I've been having a good time because I've gotten time to spend on my violin. I've got a lot of time to spend on my vocal fitness, and I've started this violin course. So basically a lot of things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've started that out. So I guess in a way I'm very happy. I'm happy.
Right.
I don't mind being at home in my studio working at all. I'm not one of those people who gets restless when they're at home. I really like the way it's
Oh,
working.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your studio where you're sitting? Is that your studio, Karthik?
Yeah, this is my studio. Yeah.
Okay. And do you spend a lot of time these days in your studio, locked up in your studio?
Yeah, I do. I started around 9:30 when the nanny comes, and I'm here till about 8:30. Yeah, in the evening. Of course, with breaks in
Oh,
between, but I do spend a lot of time here. Yeah.
wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Super. So I'm going to ask you about, the title of this conversation is, starting a new chapter. And as somebody whose musical journey has inherently been like out of the box and breaking out of comfort zone, that's not something really so new to you, right? This whole idea of making shifts, starting something new.
Um, Let me say I've gone through this process, but then I've also grown. That is when I started IndoSoul, of course. I went through the process. And of course, when I started out as a professional musician, so I've started it twice over, I would say, in my life, at least from the musical point of view. But but then I've grown comfortable in the past 2 years. There's been steady concerts coming, and the music has been evolving. So it's been incremental growth that's been happening. So suddenly to start from scratch, the experience that I got was last October or November when I started Flow, which is a studio-based YouTube channel that I started. And again, I'm starting from zero. So starting from scratch is very exciting. I like the experience, but then it can be intimidating when you're doing it after a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that you, many years ago, you wrote a piece for Aalaap as well about being the captain of the ship. Both with IndoSoul and with, you've sort of managed different aspects of, you just have to manage the administrative aspects. Of course, now you have a manager and all that, but back in the day when you had to do all of it on your own, what have those experiences taught you, Karthik, to sort of, be at the helm of a band and kind of it's almost like having a business, right?
Yeah, it is. It is like it's an entrepreneurship in a sense. Um, I view all the musicians as consultants, where they bring in their own ideas, and everyone has a stake in the music. So I think managing an outfit, a band, is a continuous learning process. I can only say that I know more today than I knew last year, and probably the year before. But I'm pretty sure if we were to speak next year, I would have something that I've gained from this year. It's uh, it's about knowing how to balance out the different ideas on one level from the musical sense, and see how you can take an idea in your mind forward, getting different inputs from the musicians, and every input is relevant, right? So how to balance it all out and take it forward is one angle of it. Of course, that's
Hmm.
purely the creative angle that
Hmm.
people know us for. But on the other side, there is the very important administrative angle, which involves a lot of non-musician,
Yeah,
see,
skills.
non-musician-like skills. So it's sort of like the left
Yeah,
and the right brain coming together. So that's where uh, that's where a musician who is, and that's I think that's an important quality to have, to be able to be balance your creative side as well as your sort of a disciplined sort of a side together. That's a different ball game. Administration, handling clients, handling finances, handling it's a full it's a
yeah,
full 360-degree perspective, and that's on top of your music. So you need to make the music grow. At the end of the day, people don't care about all that, right? They just want to listen to music. They want to be happy. And I appreciate that. And that's why we are here. But then
hmm,
behind the scenes, there is this whole thing going on, which needs to be like a well-oiled machine that needs to keep,
yeah,
got
yeah,
to keep greasing it every day.
yeah. Karthik, like I'm just curious, like, what is your educational qualification? Did you study business per se, like to understand like numbers and, um,
I'm a I'm a bachelor of electronics and communication engineer.
Okay.
I didn't study business. My wife is an MBA. She helped me from time to time whenever there's something that I I can't wrap my head around. She helps
Right.
me. But I have a natural affinity to numbers. I like math. I sort of
Right.
used to be a
Okay.
geek in school and up till first year of college, I guess. So all that sort of gave way to music after that. But yeah, I used to be one of the guys who keeps studying a lot in school.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
about violin, Karthik? Like, were you? I read that your bio says that you started learning at the age of 8, or you started performing at the age of 8.
I started learning at the age of 8. I
Okay.
started performing when I was about 13 or 14, I think. It was this MOP,
Oh,
Fine Arts, which I'm sure you heard of,
yeah, yeah, of course.
launching pad for many young artists. So I started
Young
playing
musicians,
for,
yeah.
yeah. So that's when I started performing around 13 or 14. Yeah.
And what like prompted you to break out of that Carnatic music performance circuit to actually, what was that moment when you decided that you wanted to kind of? So that was also the beginning of a new chapter, right? And you must have been young when you decided to kind of start collaborating with, other eclectic bands, looking at
Yeah.
cinema. So what was that turning point?
Um, that's a great question. I guess there were two things that went into my decision. Is one, I was in engineering and I was sure I didn't want to take up a job. I wasn't interested in becoming a software engineer. So what I thought was if I want to become financially independent as a musician, I felt that I needed to be more diverse. I needed to get into different aspects of it. I, I I didn't at that point of time think that I would move completely away from the traditional Carnatic circuit, but then ultimately
Mm,
that just happened. Although I stay in touch
mm.
with the 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 music as such, but I'm away from the
Yeah,
traditional Carnatic industry or
yeah,
the field as such.
yeah,
Um, I've always felt a bit. I felt that the the field, the industry, I felt it was very constricting in terms of my development as a musician, because I felt like it was a very much like I needed to follow this path. I needed to speak in a certain way. I need to act in a certain way.
yeah.
Uh, I just felt
Restrictive, yeah.
like I was constantly being judged, and that sort of affected me as a person and the music and stuff like that. Uh, I think it's probably more to do with the way I am as a person,
Yeah.
and obviously there is a certain way everyone is, but I just felt much more at home, playing with the band where it was a bit more chill. You know, at the end of the day, we didn't grow up. Very, very traditionally. So to sort of go into a very traditional circuit and all of a sudden, act like an extremely traditional Brahmin, so to speak, it was almost like leading a double life for me, and
Right.
that was one of the reasons. I don't speak about that often. I'm just telling you that now today. I don't think I've mentioned that in any interview. But then again, ultimately it all boils down to the music as well. I was very, very interested in beats. I was very interested in the Western theory and harmony. So, I've given you three reasons, but if it weren't for the music, I don't think anything would have prompted me to, even take the first step.
Yeah, but you still have like your like IndoSoul, the core of IndoSoul is still classical music, right?
Yes, it is. I
Yeah.
I love the music. The music really means a lot to me, and that's where I've grown from. That's my fundamentals. So, in a sense, that is something that I will never move away from. So, how I package the music is where I felt gave me an opportunity to do something
Yeah,
different.
lovely. Okay. Karthik, since we're in the topic of Carnatic music and we're talking about your life, the end of one chapter in your life when you were, in maybe in your early 20s, like or late as a teenager, maybe when you decided to shift out of the Carnatic music circuit and start experimenting with bands and stuff?
Yeah, that's yeah, when I was 20. Yeah, early 20s after college. Yeah.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Well, since we're speaking about that, do you think you could just play us like one little, maybe a ragam or like maybe a short excerpt, one kriti that you used to play a lot when you were, performing as a Carnatic musician, full-fledged Carnatic musician. I'm sorry, I don't know whether the video is a bit shaky for me, or can somebody who's watching just let me know if the video is a bit not okay for Karthik. I feel like it's a bit.
Is it?
Can somebody
I
just?
think I can have a bit more light on me. Let me just see if I can sort that out.
Yeah, boundless. Yeah, we'll get to
Don't know.
that.
I don't know if that's better. Anyway, so
Yes, it's blurred. Karthik, your video is a bit blurred. Do you
okay.
want to? Okay, I think
Let me
it'll probably settle on its own.
hang on. It's probably
It's blurred, yeah.
hang on. Okay, I hope it sorts itself out.
Yeah, I think it will sort itself out. It's probably an internet issue. Yeah, this is better. This is better.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Karthik, do you want to switch to 4G? I mean, if you're on Wi-Fi, sometimes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's okay.
Am I back?
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. As I said, I'm gonna play Telisi Rama. I have a piano version of this song.
Okay, lovely. Wow. Thank you so much.
That was Telisi Rama.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, Karthik, when you play, I've been meaning to ask you this question for so many years now. When you play the violin, there's like an inherent like sense of joy on your face? Has anybody talked to you about it ever? Does that happen so naturally? Like, what is your relationship with music, and how has it really like evolved? Do you really always feel the sense of joy when you're playing the violin?
Um, yes, I feel like I don't know. It is of course an expression of what we are doing. So and especially a song like Telisirama or Raghuvamsa Sudha, there is so much joy in the song, in the raga.
Yeah, the song itself.
So
Yeah.
I might not look the same way if I'm playing Raga Thodi, for instance,
Yeah.
but then again, a lot of people come and tell me about how they like the fact that I'm smiling. You know, more people talk about my smile than they talk about how I play the violin. so, so there you go. A lot of people say that. I do enjoy playing. You know, I like the. It's it's sort of it's a nice escape from everything that's happening around us. Not that I have to escape, but it's always nice to do something with music.
Yeah, and Karthik, this kind of technique, and we'll come to your violin technique course as well. But the kind of I've always found this absolute this pace in your music, right? And that comes with also there's a certain sense of rigor, right? And you have to kind of keep brushing your technique over and over again. So, what is your practice routine like when you say you spend time in the studio? Are you also like just practicing, and do you practice every day as in a disciplined sort of way?
Yes, I do. I break it up into various hours. So, say an hour is spent in vocal practice, and an hour is spent in violin practice. Then an hour. I was just working a lot of time today to release this track called Kalyani Calling, which I just released a couple of hours ago. So
Oh,
there is
okay.
tracks like that. So there's
Okay.
tracks like that where work is going on some flow track, and of course there is violin class as well, which sometimes is preparatory work or sometimes it's the actual class that's going to be happening. So I I sort of um, divide it into chunks of maybe an hour each, and I sort of go at it for that time. Yeah.
But you do practice every day.
Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay,
Especially
lovely.
especially lockdown, I can say I have done that for the lockdown.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah. Karthik, I was going to ask you about going back to our idea of chapters. I want to ask you that not all beginnings of chapters have, you know, good endings, right? So it's possible that you may have embarked on something and it may not have worked. Is there anything like that that you'd like to talk about where you actually experimented with something or you started off something new and it didn't go the way you wanted for it to?
Um, so before I started IndoSoul, I went to I moved to Bangalore. I made a move to go to Bangalore,
Oh,
and just sort of just wanted to be a bit independent and you know, figure out things on my own. Kind of that was the reason, but also the one of the primary reasons was to go there and start a band. So I had a few musician friends there, and we decided to start an outfit. And for some reason, it did not work out. As in, I couldn't last the course in Bangalore because there was a lot of work that kept calling me back from Chennai. And I guess it was a big learning experience for me to be there on my own and figure things out.
mm,
As I think I was 20, I don't know, 22, 23 years old, I think. I'm not sure. But probably a bit older than that. I think it was 25, 26. Anyway, so that band that I wanted to start never ultimately worked out. It was after that I got back to Chennai and then started IndoSoul. So in the sense of the idea, it panned out one way or the other, but not to move to Bangalore. So that will remain a chapter that, you know, probably taught me a lot of things in life, but nothing came to
actually
fruition. Yeah.
came, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm going to ask you about ever since the lockdown, how have you, you're a band that comprises of different members, and I know that digitally now it's possible for you to kind of still stay connected and stuff. But have you also been, because you're finally a band that performs live, and in the current context, that's not possible. So have you had to reinvent your strategy in terms of IndoSoul as well?
So what we are planning with IndoSoul is to do like a very special e-concert that's
Okay.
gonna happen. Well, we're planning on the 20th or the 21st. We're planning on the Saturday or the Sunday next week. We're still waiting to see. There's rumors of a lockdown coming back again, so we're waiting to see what's going to happen. But it's going to be a never before seen e-concert. It's gonna. We're trying to bring the vibe of the corporate stage concert into everyone's living rooms. This
Wow.
is what we're planning to do. So we're all planning to meet, go to a studio, and shoot there live and have it transmitted to everyone's houses.
Wow. That
And
sounds
it's
fun. Yeah.
idea is I have done a few concerts like we've done one for
Yeah.
Aalaap together, of course, and I've
Yeah.
done a couple of private corporate concerts as well for a couple
Okay.
of companies. It's all
Right.
been from the studio, which is not too bad, but I think for IndoSoul it'll be nice to go to a larger space. Probably have like a
Absolutely.
stage kind of setup where there is space and there's like multiple cameras. So we're planning something big. So let's see what lockdown the government has in mind in Chennai at least, but we will be coming out with that as soon as that's possible. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're on the subject of IndoSoul, Karthik, it would be lovely for you to play something which you think is very, very representative of the sort of core value system of what IndoSoul stands for,
Right.
according to you. I mean, somebody
Talking.
said boundless here, so
Yeah. So now I'm having backing tracks here.
okay,
Um, so I'm sort of limited in terms of what songs I can play, but
that's fine.
I'm gonna play a Clown's Junket,
Oh yeah,
which
that's my favorite.
yes, it's a lot of IndoSoul fan favorite, and
Yeah,
it's the first song that we composed together as a band.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's no other song better to represent IndoSoul than Clown's Junket. So let me play that.
Karthik, sorry, but before that, would you like to just talk about a clown's junket? Like what inspired the name? I remember you telling me that story, and
Clown's Junket was about. It was composed very early on when IndoSoul started. I think a few months down the line, it was for Indie Earth that we got the song ready for
yeah,
because we had a shoot going and we got it ready. It was at a time where I was still figuring out the ropes of being a frontman,
yeah,
from having been just a a musician freelancer, who just went about his job of,
just went
learning the
and
music
played,
and
and
performing it and not thinking about any other things that we discussed
yeah,
about, right? The
yeah,
administration and all that. So in a sense, I felt like a clown bumbling around. So this song is, in the way it sounds as well, is sort of like the journey of a
yeah,
clown.
just yeah,
Yes, stumbling across, bumbling around, but still making people happy. That was the aim, and that's where the song came from.
lovely. Thank you so much.
A big shout out to the guys, Vikram, Sumesh, Ramkumar, Rashwin, our manager Rahul, digital media coordinator Aparna, and Surya, our sound engineer. Uh, we haven't met in a long time.
I
Hopefully, we'll
know.
meet this weekend for a shoot. But yeah, can't wait to get back onto the stage and start playing.
I know, it's crazy, right? So I was going to come to that, but before that, Karthik, I want to speak to you about, you know, what you're playing is an electric violin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you talk to us about this new violin technique course that you've launched? I'm curious about what went into, how you created the module, who is it for, and what has the response been like?
So the course is called Violin Technique with Karthick Iyer, and it's aimed at two things. One is to strengthen the violinist fundamentals in terms of starting from how they hold the bow to how they play different bow strokes to the left hand, to basically concretizing and strengthening one's technique, the basic technique at the very core. And on the other hand, it carries a lot of electives. How do you play a film song as a Carnatic musician, or how do you learn how the studio works, how to learn how the electric violin works and how to process it, to how do you play a vibrato, how to play fast. So it's a lot of electives that the participants can choose from, and so it's a mixture of both these things. I say that as long as you can hold a violin and you can play a basic scale, which is Sarli Varasai in Carnatic or its equivalent in Western or Hindustani, you can join the course. I group the students
Okay.
according to their experience of playing. So I have beginners as well as more experienced violinists, and I sort of uh, change the course exercises to suit them in a sense. I finished one crash course
Okay.
last month, and I'm starting the
Okay.
next one come 15th of June. I had about 20 participants from all over the world for the first one, and now I have 43, 44 people that I have for the next crash course.
And so how
So
many hours is the crash course, Karthik?
this one's going to be 5 sessions.
Five
Each
sessions, okay?
session is going to be an hour minimum, probably a bit more than that. But this one's going to be 5 sessions. It also comes across along with, its PDF documentation, videos of all the exercises. So with the first course, I sort of built up a whole ecosystem around, audio tools, documents, video, and all those things together. So all that gets included in the whole package. And I'm also planning a subscription website app post this course so that I can have. So the crash course is basically like I'm throwing a lot of things at them in 1 month, right? The subscription is going to be the opposite. It's going to be step by step. Every month, there's going to be new videos that are going to be added. And so sort of have a goal oriented approach where people can go step by step every month, for a
Right.
sort of long-term period. That's in the works as well.
Right. And I mean, I know that people teach dance online, people take classes, teach music online. How tough is it to teach an instrument like online? Like, I mean, the bowing technique and stuff. How does one actually?
It's not that tough actually. I did do a lot. I did put a lot of thought into how it would work, but you know, it's it's all I need to do is to see the person, the participant, and hear them, right? I can do both of that online. And
Yeah,
violin is that sort of an instrument which is right in the phone range or in the video camera range, so nothing gets lost. It's not
right.
like you play a bass guitar or something where a lot of things get lost, maybe over a connection. But um, so I'm able to show the participants very closely, like, okay, this is how it works, stuff like that,
Oh,
and I'm able
okay.
to sort of make things very very clear to people with the camera, and I'm able to see them and I'm able to understand exactly what they are having. And I like doing group classes because each one has a doubt that helps the other as well. So it sort of becomes more like a workshop where everyone's, throwing questions at you, and I'm sort of correcting each person and answering everyone's questions. It is pretty effective, and the advantage is you can record the classes as well. So
Yeah,
six
that's true.
months down the line, you want to
You
pick
can
up one
actually
thing that
refer.
you want to do. So
Yeah.
compared to a real class where you really don't set up a video camera and record a real
Yeah.
class. But
Yeah.
here, it's on Zoom. You just press the record button and everyone has the file with them. Um,
Well, I don't,
it's pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
pretty
know about you, Karthik, but back in the day when I learned music for a little while, my music teacher wouldn't even allow me to write down the songs. They'd be like committed to memory, right? And then you'd have to like remember. And so, I mean, we've come a long way from, where you can actually record a class and, store it and actually like watch it again.
Yeah. That's true. I guess it's yeah. I guess times change.
Yeah. But are you
Um,
enjoying being a teacher?
I really like it. I really like it. It's I just did an Instagram live session for fun, and then the
Mhm.
response was really overwhelming, and I decided to start this. And
Okay.
you know, I guess from being an engineer, I generally like to deconstruct things. And when it comes to
Right.
technique, I I feel like I'm successful in being able to deconstruct what is necessary to make a specific technique work,
Wow.
and
Nice.
that's what I put into the. And I'm also
Right.
able to sort of give the Western point of view also to a Carnatic violinist, and a Carnatic point of view to the Western violinist. So
Western.
I guess
Wow.
I'm. It's nice to be able to offer the best of both worlds to
Right.
the participants
Super.
who might have learned only one.
Yeah.
If
Karthik, I'm just going to ask you a question that Mr. Ramesh Dhanapal wants to know. Are these classes only for locals or are you planning to go international?
We've already gone international. Last course, we had students from the US, Canada, France, Malaysia, Singapore. This time we added Australia, we're adding Muscat, we're adding Belgium, I think, and a few other European countries. So um, we have people from all across joining
Wow.
us here.
Okay. And he also
And I,
wants
I
to know
work the
how are you?
timing. I work the timings out according to everyone's needs, and somehow
Yeah.
it all falls in place here.
Right. He also wants to know how you're planning to conduct guild tests for participants.
So what I do is the tests will sort of be part of the subscription course where I will have in every 3 months of 6 months there will be some sort of a stage that is measured and that can be reached by the participants. With respect to this course, I'm always keep myself available on WhatsApp where people can play something and send it to me, or ask me their doubts on WhatsApp and I just respond to them. So I really believe it's good to have like a feedback, one-on-one feedback loop that goes on. So it's not a test as such, but then
Yeah.
there is an assessment that happens through this,
Right.
and that's basically it. But I appreciate the question. I am planning to make it a bit more formalized with the subscription course, and I will think of something in which there can be sort of a certification course or something like that.
Right. Super. I was going to also ask you that by virtue of this, this lockdown, Karthik, you've also found time to rebuild your own personal brand, right?
Yeah. So that's been going on for a while. I started it like very basically last October, but from about January it's picked up steam. Um, Yeah, so if IndoSoul is me as a live musician, my personal brand, Flow with Karthik Iyer, is me as a studio musician. It's still me as a violinist, it's still me as a singer, it's still me as a Carnatic musician, but it's more studio, it's more program stuff, it's more, I feel it's, if IndoSoul is energetic and it's vibrant. This is intimate and a little bit of electronic as well. So I have a YouTube channel, my name, and I also like to call it as my experiments with music as well, in a sense where I
Mhm.
feel. Yesterday I started working on Raga Kalyani. I just felt an inspiration. I started yesterday and I completed the track and I shot it last night, and it's out
Wow.
today. So it's more like an experiment with how different electronic kind of sounds go with Carnatic music and how
Right.
to mix things up.
Right. Karthik, I'm just going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to ask you to play music a little bit, and if there are any questions, because we need to wind up in another 10 minutes. I
Sure.
just wanted to ask you, there's a huge debate that's raging on the digital platform about performing online for free,
Is
right?
there a huge debate?
Artists.
I mean, it's a very interesting question because when the lockdown started, it's news to me that it's a big debate that's going on because it's been on my mind. A lot of people asked me to play for free. I did a few to start with, and of course, with friends like you and Aalaap, it's a pleasure. I'll do it as many times as I feel like, and as long as you
Thank
like
you.
me. But otherwise, there's a lot of people whom I don't know who've been inquiring and asking me to play for free, and after I just said no after a point in time. I played a
Right.
couple of corporate concerts that were paid for.
Right.
Um, so I would take it on a case by case basis. It would depend
Okay.
if I'm playing something for free. Uh, you know, as a musician, I do tend to think of it as a promotional sort of a concert.
Yeah.
So I need
Yeah.
to assess how it works for me. And sometimes, I'm just happy working on my music here in my studio. So it's also a balance between the time that I have to do certain things. And I was quite busy with the violin technique course up till like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I will start to become next week. So um, I don't know. There are a lot of free concerts that are starting, but unless it's a promotional value to the musician,
Yeah.
I don't see there's any point. I have my Instagram channel, I have my YouTube channel. I connect with my fans there. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the intent with which people ask. People want to give good music to their subscribers, and I appreciate that. But then we, as musicians, are are glorified daily wagers. At the moment, we don't have any work. So
Yeah.
I need to, if I'm going to be playing my art to someone, the question of payment does arise in some
Yeah.
sort of way, right? So it
Yeah.
is important. Um, so I would do it in a very limited basis, maybe for friends, or maybe if there is a brand that I
Yeah.
feel like,
It
might,
would
there may be a good cross pollination
benefit. Yeah.
between, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm being very frank here. Yeah.
Yeah, super. Thank you for that.
What's
So
this
I
debate
just
that's
have,
raging though? I'm curious. It's a lot
it's,
of
yeah,
people
it's
talking
like,
about it.
yeah, I mean, I see a lot of like posts about, artists should not be performing for free, should be performing only if it's for a specific cause and the cause is authentic enough and genuine contributions are being made. I don't know, like, stuff like that has been sort of,
Right.
I've been watching
It's fair enough.
conversations like that. Yeah.
It's legitimate. I think it's legitimate. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Karthik, I have like five quick questions for you, which is a rapid
Sure.
fire musical round. So
Sure.
I'm going to first ask you about, you can just play them for like a minute, minute and a half, like the ragam that's on top of your mind.
Okay. Let's see if someone can guess this.
Let's see. Yeah. Of course. Preeti Gowda, yeah.
Yeah. Sadhana Shaw got it. Preeti Gowla.
Yeah,
I'm
beautiful.
working on a track on Riti Gaule. I think it's a very interesting track.
Oh
I've sung
wow,
this
can't wait for
song
it.
called Tattva
It's my
Mariya Thalam.
favorite ragam, so yeah.
Yes, I'm surprised there's so many people like Riti Gaule because I mean, as a
Oh my
Carnatic
God.
musician, we see ragas in a slightly different way, but you can see the comments now. There's so many people who are
Yeah,
calling
I
Riti
mean,
Gaule.
also it's the way it's been used in cinema, right?
Yeah,
Beautifully. Yeah,
yeah. It's a beautiful
it's so
raga.
many.
Yeah.
Um, Karthik, your all-time favorite Ilayaraja track? Wow, beautiful, evergreen.
Puve Sempuve.
Yeah, fantastic. Of course, after Ilayaraja, your favorite A.R. Rahman track?
Sorry, did you say something? I lost you for a bit.
No, I
What?
said your favorite A.R. Rahman song,
All right.
like all-time favorite.
That's one of my favorite tracks.
Wow, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I
Beautiful
mean,
track,
literally,
beautifully
like
sung.
there's nobody who doesn't love this song. It's such a fantastic
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
And what singing, Hariharan and Chitra. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing track and an amazing time. Uh, you know, when A.R. Rahman in the 90s,
Yeah, yeah,
especially.
yeah. Oh my God, at his best, right? Yeah. Um, any particular song that's playing on loop right now, Karthik, like that you've been continuously listening to?
None, I'm afraid. Actually, I listen to a lot of electronic stuff. I listen to a lot of Zed, a lot of Dead Mouse. On
Okay.
loop, no. It's just a Spotify. I just go on the car. I just have a few playlists and I just get something up and running. Um, so it's
Okay.
for me, it's more about discovering new music
Okay.
and nothing really on loop at the moment. I think it's been a long
Okay.
time since I listened to anything on loop.
Maybe your favorite IndoSoul track. You told me that it's Clown's Junket, but is there one more, IndoSoul track that we can listen to?
I
Like just a
I
short.
I said the clown's jacket is sort of most befitting of the spirit of IndoSoul. My
Yeah.
favorite track has to be At the Theaters.
Oh, of
It's
course. Yeah.
uh, it's a very special track. The time it came out, it's one of the first tracks that I wrote, although it came after Clown's Jacket maybe. But yeah, it's a very special track for the philosophy it has and for the vocals, the lyrics, and just the way the song is.
Karthik, somebody asks if you can play Mate.
Mate, yes, I can play, and I think I have a backing track here.
Wow. Thank you so much, Karthik. We just have 2 minutes. Is there any way I can request you to just play Varali's Vice because someone's asking just a short excerpt of Varali's Vice?
Varali's Vice. A quick shout out to Siddharth who played the piano for Mate as well as Salisi Rahman.
Yeah. Okay.
Varali's Vice. I'm just gonna play and sing it. I don't have a backing track.
Yeah.
Maye mayengade manase Maye mayengade manase. Yeah, Vikram also sings the track, so
Yeah,
just
I know. Yeah, fabulous. I mean, I hope we're all like this lockdown ends soon. We're all going to be able to watch you guys back. I mean, I've been looking forward to the e-concert, but we'd love to see you guys back on stage and actually
sure.
relive the magic of a live experience. Thank you so much, Karthik, for taking time off to do this and to so generously share your music with us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Akhila, and thanks to the Hindu for having me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
Thank
And thank you to everyone who tuned in. This interview will be available on the Hindu Weekend's IGTV. Thanks, Karthik, and have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.